Welcome back and happy Tuesday, turkeys. How long have we known each other?
We've known each other for 2 decades.
I am not apologizing for who I am or what I like or the people that I love.
How do I be a wife? How do I be a mom? And how do I be myself and all of that? You didn't see that coming, did you? Good morning.
Oh, good morning. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday to the Turkeyverse. Where are you guys? Are you out there?
Man, well, it's fall. I'm in my prime. This is my season. This is my life. This is what I live for until
That's valid.
I'm just going to have some form of holiday to celebrate and themed music to listen to from now until the end of the year.
I love it. There's Halloween themed music?
Yeah.
Oh.
I listened to that song Season of the Witch. Then I end up listening to a lot of like Stevie Nicks, Fleetwood Mac.
Okay.
It's not necessarily Halloween, but just sort of the vibes. And then I will switch over to actual Halloween music in October.
Okay, that's valid.
And then a lot of it's like classical music in minor keys or the theme track or the soundtrack to Nightmare Before Christmas. Is that the right one?
These are the things I'm thinking about. It's just like the movies.
Yeah. Okay. We are doing another let the roll of the dice decide. I pre-rolled the dice before we started so that we could just get right to it. And the winner, excuse me, chicken dinner is a Kayla. I know, as per usual. I'm sober. It's going to be rough. Kayla's question for us to discuss is dreaming more than subconscious? Could you be living in a different parallel universe?
I forgot I did that one. Yep.
Welcome to Mind Fucks with Kayla.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, let's just jump right in. I have heard that, well, you know how dreaming is so like people try to understand it and the meaning behind dreams and writing down your dreams and blah, 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 blah. To my knowledge, dreaming is based on our subconscious thoughts, right? Or things that have happened or things that we just think in our subconscious and they kind of whatever come out. But I've heard some stories about people who like dream things and it's so real and they keep going back to that place. Basically, essentially, it's like when you're in sleep, your body is at rest, so your soul can like interdimensionally travel. Or like I've heard people like astral projecting in their sleep, and I'm like, that's crazy. Which astral projection is a whole other thing, and is that I don't even know if that's interdimensional. I think you could just like pop over to like the next state over and look at something. I don't even know how that works. But regardless, my point is what actually is happening when you're dreaming and why can't we ever remember it very well when we wake up? Like what's really happening? Is it sketchy?
I don't know. I have always heard that there's some type of your subconscious. I've always been taught, heard, I don't know, your brain is processing information at night. I think they also talk about that even with REM sleep because your brain processes and does things. I don't know the right science words for it, but they'll say if you study really hard, don't give up. Or if you have to cram for a test, don't give up getting high quality sleep because your REM sleep helps synthesize new information. But to your point, what if somewhere in the depths of your brain, you either have access to a parallel universe or perhaps you have a connection to a past life? So is your brain processing that information that it has in its hidden corridors? I feel like it could be both.
I think so too. Because like I do think that parallel universes exist. I wouldn't be surprised. How about that? That's what we always go back to. I wouldn't be surprised if we found out one day that it is real. So if that's the case, like you've got to be connected to the other universe or you and your other universe somehow, you would think, and it wouldn't be a super strong connection while you're consciously awake. But if you're subconsciously awake while sleeping and you're firing and you're going through your REM and you're doing all the things. This is my scientific version of what you said. It wouldn't surprise me if we were either going to like witness our other selves in parallel universes do stuff, or we like learn lessons from things that are happening in different timelines. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But who's controlling where we jump?
I don't know. I also just wonder if maybe consciousness, we've talked about consciousness before. We obviously don't understand consciousness fully. So is there some kind of underlying connection to a larger consciousness that we're plugged into? Are we, I don't know, are we tapped into it more if our ego, if our, what is it, our left brain is offline? You know, the part of our brain that sort of defines limits, and this is where my body starts and stops, and this is where the next object stops and starts. If that's not on board or not in control, are we just more fluid and more permeable in the nighttime? So
Mhm.
maybe it's not even me in another universe, or maybe it's just I'm just more open to like receiving things. So maybe I have information or things are coming in from other conscious points. Like, is that why in your dream you're a different person? Have you ever had those? You don't look like you, but it's you're the one running the vessel.
Or, but oh yeah, that's a good one. But also, like when you try to relay a dream back, and you're like, it was this person, like Kaylee was in my dream. Like she did not look like Kaylee, but like I knew she was Kaylee. Like that's the
Yes.
type of weird stuff where I'm like, what does that mean? And I'm like, is that just the soul recognizing the other soul, but we look different in different parallel universes? Or, oh shoot, I just lost my train of thought. Well, it'll come back to me hopefully.
I just wonder, okay, I think it's one of those things too where it could just all be random. I just would prefer to live in a world where it's not all random.
I know,
And I'm
same.
not gonna buy in hook, line, and sinker to every single thing. Like, I used to have a repetitive dream about those carousel cookies, the surface cookies. No,
Mm-hmm.
the carousel ones. It's the ones that were frosted pink and white with the sprinkles. I can't even tell you the contents of that dream, but I definitely used to have recurring dreams about those cookies. It could just be nothing. I could just be a fatty on the inside and wanting to get out of its cage. But I like living in a world where there's things to wonder about.
Yeah, it is weird the ones that are recurring and that are so specific. And then it's also weird when you have the one, like there's, forgot the guy's name. It's a psychologist, I think. And he's like, yeah, if you have dreams about your teeth falling out, it means this. And if you have dreams that you're falling, it means you lack control in your life or like stuff like that. So it's like an overarching theme of your brain trying to process maybe stressors, which I totally get. There's just a few dreams where sometimes they feel so real. And then you wake up and you're like, what just happened? And the fact that we're just so subconscious during that time, again, I wouldn't be surprised if we could subconsciously jump to other places.
Yeah. Or absorb information more permeable.
Yes.
Number one, I feel like some dreams I can definitely identify as stress dreams of just they recur when I'm stressed.
Mm-hmm.
My current recurring stress dream, and I've talked about this before, is that I am supposed to get on a flight and I either forgot to check in, like I keep wandering around the airport, but none of the places is the right concourse. I'll go somewhere and I think I'm somewhere else, or I forgot to book a flight home, or I got my schedules messed up and I got to the airport a day late. I'll have some weird version of a travel stress dream. I think I've also talked about this before, but I used to at my old job have a recurring dream that I had to use my duty weapon and it was gooey.
Oh, yes.
So the slide would goo back and then the projectile would just bounce off people. Because I guess in my dream it couldn't come out as fast because the
Yes.
slide was gooed up. That used to happen constantly. That was
Mm.
so annoying. I can also draw a pretty clear line. But I feel like those are dreams that happen when I'm not in a deep REM sleep because I am
Mm-hmm.
stressed. And
Mm-hmm.
that feels just like I'm clenching and having weird things. But then I have recently had one where I can't tell you what was happening in the actual dream part, but I woke up distinctly stressed about a family member who then called me later that day and was in the middle of a crisis that night. I was like, well,
That's
obviously my
crazy.
brain and something was open to something
Yeah.
that was going
Yeah.
on somewhere else.
That's terrifying. You know, it's interesting. Usually when I look back at like my aura ring and stuff, when I'm in my REM sleep and when I'm in not, it's normally right
Hmm.
before I wake up or like if my alarm has gone off and I have chosen to sleep for another 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's usually those 30 minutes that really, I don't know what's going on. but I'm wondering why in that state, there's obviously scientific reasons for this that I don't know, but why in light sleep do I dream more than when you would think you would dream more in REM sleep, you know what I mean?
Isn't there something okay, number 1, I have that too. So sometimes I'll wake up in a dream and not be in a dream, I'll have
Mhm.
those weird things and those falling back to sleep moments where it's almost like lucid dreaming, but I think that is something that does happen more in that state and your brain is a little bit more online. I swear to God, it's just listening to another podcast and they were talking about consciousness, and I don't think they were talking about astral projection, but they were talking about fart. It was something similar to that. And basically, they were saying that that's the time when people try to do that or to kind of lucid dream because they're not fully unconscious from sleep and they still have a
Yes.
little bit of their brain online, but they've slipped into kind of almost like a really deep meditation. And people can learn to train that time frame for some of what people would call the like parapsychology abilities.
Crazy. That's what I was going to say. Thank you. Lucid dreamers. There's a whole other rabbit hole, real quick, that I'll just briefly surpass and come back around. First of all, it's crazy that there's some people out there that like can train themselves to look at the clock or find a red ball. And if I can pick up the red ball and bounce it or whatever their thing little tricks are, then they know they're dreaming, then they can like lucid dream and have more control in the dream, which is
Mhm.
fascinating. But then you go a step further into the rabbit hole, and there's been some people that are like, yeah, like I'm lucid dreaming and I'm aware I'm lucid dreaming, and I will like say, what time is it in the dream? And if there's people in the room, like everyone's like if you ask what time it is in a dream and you're lucid dreaming, it's apparently a big no-no. Don't know what that's about. Or like if you run into things in your dreams when you're lucid dreaming, that's maybe aren't of this world. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm like, that would scare the binkies out of me. I don't want to lucid dream. Like I can like it sounds so fascinating, but then the stories I've heard of people doing it and then like almost feeling like they've been caught is scary, which is then begs the point or begs the question, what are you getting caught from? Like, is this another world maybe? Is this another like the Truman Show where they're like, shit, he knows that he's not dreaming or he knows that he's dreaming. I'm so confused. But like, that's the weirdest thing that I've heard is when people are lucid dreaming and they like get caught. I don't know what that's about.
Remote viewing, that's what I was trying to say.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
I've
Yep. Yep.
heard the remote viewer people will try to do that where they can do it or they'll train to do it at that state or when they're in that state. And I think some people can train meditation to kind of get that way. And then they'll specifically try to remote view like a place or something and then wake up and remember some key detail and then call a friend and check and see if that's actually what was happening or the shirt they were wearing or, whatever the case may be. I'm fascinated. I'm
I,
fascinated and I'm so
mhm,
here for it. To me, this is similar to Reiki, where I totally think it's a real thing. I also totally think it would be the best thing to scam people with.
for sure. For
So
sure.
I'm sure there's both kinds. There's charlatans
Hmm.
and there's real people. And then there's probably some people who think that they're real, but they're just scamming themselves. I mean, the human mind and the ability that we have, I think, is just so unknown and untapped.
Yeah.
And
We have no
I
clue
just
what's going on, really.
no. I just wonder sometimes, have we lost some of these abilities because we are relying more on our physical senses? So have we lost more of our I don't know, paranormal senses or like the whole sixth sense kind of thing? Have we
Mhm.
just lost track of some of that because we haven't had to rely on it as much or we've not been cultivating it?
Very
I don't know.
fascinating.
I
See,
will
these are
tell
the
you, and you'll hate
questions.
this story. I have a friend to be not named, but she said her husband has lucid dreams fairly regularly where he feels like he's stuck and he can't wake up and he can't move. So she'll wake up to him, like basically screaming with his mouth shut. And she has
Yeah,
to wake
that's
him up.
terrifying. That's terrifying. That's like sleep paralysis and lucid dreaming, which
Yes,
also
yes, yes,
is
sleep
a whole,
paralysis.
that's a whole thing where I don't know why I'm doing this, but like, yes, there's reasons chemically that this could happen to people, but also the amount of stories about demonic things and things, again, not of this world or whatever you want to say, that coincide with sleep paralysis and lucid dreaming. I'm like, this is scary. I don't like this anymore.
I just think that we will probably continuously talk about this, but I just don't think that we understand everything, and I prefer to live in a world where I have a little bit of whimsy and a little bit of curiosity and the ability to say what if and then walk down the what if road and just wonder about it because it's fun and I think it's good for you. And it helps keep you humble because if you think you know everything, everyone has thought they have known, like every expert of every era, I feel, has thought they knew everything. And then modern humans look back and scoff.
And this, to wrap up my side of the story here, this goes back to our previous episode we just did about I don't want to, if it happens this way, I will be grateful. But I don't want to just die and like be in a peace, glory filled world. I want to die and know I want the answers to all these things. I'm so curious. I want to sit down with a book and I want to read through all the things. And I was like, tell me the truth about this and explain this to me. Like, that would be so fun. It feels a little weird, but I would love that. I would like to just understand all the things when we pass instead of just being ignorant to them. Like, I want to know.
Maybe when your soul goes back to the hive, you have the knowledge and understanding of the hive mind. And then you come back down and then you're
You
back in
forget.
your mini entity. I still feel just even the whole saying of people having an old soul. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I just feel like when you see things that are repeated in nature or repeated across different people's experiences, across different cultures and backgrounds and life experiences, and there's some kind of connection, that there's a connection. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what it is. I might not be able to explain it. I don't have the sciencey words for it, but I think some of the stuff is coming into a more of a larger discussion. As I have previously also mentioned, everyone should go watch the or listen to the telepathy tapes because they talk about some of these, psi abilities. I'm obsessed with it. I went down a whole rabbit hole about how the CIA was trying to train remote viewers
Oh my
so they
gosh.
could see other, country
Yep.
secrets. So
Oh yeah.
there has to be something to it
The
somewhere.
1000%. Oh, 100%. I'm in agreement with you there. But
I
will we
never
ever
thought
know?
about this with the dreaming thing though, but that would make sense to me. If you're synthesizing information and we don't necessarily know what the bounds of the information is that we have access to,
Mm-hmm.
some things that are from another whatever timeline, person,
Mm-hmm.
different consciousness whole could also be in the soup of what's being processed in the middle of the night.
Crazy.
Let's play a game and try to write down our dreams. Mental health practitioners were obsessed with dreams back, I think, in the 80s and 90s. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
that was a Freudian influence, but dream journals were a real thing. And I think therapists used to process them a lot. And not that TV is real life, but The Sopranos is a great example of how that was very common in psychiatry back then. Because the person
Interesting.
that plays a psychiatrist is constantly doing like dream analysis work with him. And I was like, yeah, that was definitely the era of that being a popular part of mental health.
I think what pisses me off about trying to do that is because I start to forget so fast. But yeah, I shall try.
Everyone else, let us know if you have any recurring dreams that you'd like to share because I'm sure I'm not alone with some of mine. I don't know what the carousel cookies was about. I would love if somebody else had a recurring dream about them. But until next week,
Love you. Bye.
love you. Bye. Happy pre Halloween.